says Herman's unpredictability makes him extremely difficult for hitters.
A lot of guys, you can go, yeah, I'm sitting on that heater, or I'm sitting on this spot, but you don't know with him. It's pot luck, but he's just hard to bury. He's been a tremendous leader and been a great example for all the players and coaches, honestly, just from his work ethic.
ULM is coming off a sweep of Texas State. The Warhawks used only 6 pitchers for the weekend, and Coach Ford Pemberton says it's a step in the right direction for the pitching staff.
We gave us some hits. If we can still execute pitches a little bit better with 2 strikes, get some contact earlier, you'll see us improve even more.
The Warhawks will host UNO tomorrow. LRN.
KSYL.
Meta is reportedly licensing Google's AI. Let that sink in. One of the most powerful tech companies with more money than most countries said, we can't build this fast enough. Give us yours. This is the start of something huge. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN. When you're online, you're tracked. Keep your activity private and secure. Right now, get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. We're heading into the era of AI utilities. Most companies will stop trying to build their own AI. They'll plug into someone else's. Google's, OpenAI's, Anthropic's. That leaves maybe 3 companies running the world's intelligence infrastructure, and everyone else is just a customer. Think about what happened with internet providers. We thought competition would keep prices fair and service great. It did not. AI consolidation is starting to rhyme with that story. Watch this space. The future of AI is narrowing fast to a very small group of very powerful hands. And stay up to date with all things AI with my new free newsletter. Sign up at splashofai.com. Who really knows you best? Your spouse, your kids? If you use a smartphone, a computer, or any internet-connected device, thousands of companies are tracking what you do online. Big tech makes billions every year monitoring the sites you visit and the things you buy. A lot of that activity is tied to your IP address. They build a profile about you, what you search for, what you like, and use it to target you with ads. That's why I use ExpressVPN. It hides your real IP address and encrypts your internet connection so what you do online isn't visible to companies, your internet provider, or anyone else trying to snoop. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. One subscription covers up to 8 devices: your phone, laptop, tablet, even your smart TV. Just one click and you're protected. Take back control of your online privacy today at expressvpn.com/Kim. And right now, get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. expressvpn.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday right here on Talkback. Nathan Martin sitting in with Stephen Maxwell this morning. Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Good. Good morning.
Yeah, it's a good day. I heard you and Al talk yesterday about your appearance at the, what shall we say, your stellar appearance at the Dancing with the Stars event, Alexander Country Day. Your wife held you up, as you said. And
she did it all for me.
Yeah.
That's what I was happy about. So.
Yeah. Well, y'all look good. The pictures I saw looked pretty.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
It was a little nerve-wracking, but it's one of those things that you did it, and you're glad you did it, and you're glad it's over with.
You can say it's done now. So, well, good. Well, I almost called in yesterday. I know y'all were pretty busy, and I didn't want to steal any thunder or anything, but I wanted to thank you for the little piece you did for our 50th anniversary at the church.
Oh, yeah.
We had a wonderful celebration this weekend, and I was grateful for all those who came out. Friday night had Ben Waits in concert, and he did a phenomenal job. Interestingly, and poor Ben, he was under the weather. He had been actually was at urgent care that morning, just really under the weather, and got some meds and got taken care of. And so the struggle then became, for him to press through that. And if you're a real big fan, you can kind of tell his voice was off just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But man, he pressed through, and by the time the evening was over, it's like he got stronger as the night went along.
That's good.
And he started out, he sang a bunch of songs and didn't really talk in between his songs. And that was another clue to me that he's just not feeling as well. And but then when he started sharing, he shared so many beautiful personal things of what God's doing in his life and where he's at. It just really brought a lot of encouragement to people. And then at the end of the evening, we received an offering for him. Our church was going to give him a gift no matter what, but we really wanted to extra bless him. And so we received a gift for him and offering for him. And when that was done, Octavia was in the house. And if you're familiar with Octavia, I brought her up and asked her on the spot to sing with Ben, and they sang a song, just brought the house down. It was great. And so I got one of my dreams fulfilled. I got to play keyboard behind two of my heroes, Ben Waits and Octavia Williams, at the same time. So that was phenomenal. And I just enjoyed that. That was Friday night. And
when you're in a church setting and you grow up in churches and you're the person that can sing really well, it's nonstop for you. And you always have to be ready.
Yeah, and Octavia's a preacher's kid, so she's prepared for that. So,
is she?
Yeah. And then Saturday we had our walk down memory lane. We had my brother brought his group in from Sabine Parish. They did some country bluegrass music, which was kind of some kickback to the old days, and it was great. My dad got to sing a little bit and share stories from the early days, just really nice. And then Sunday, packed house. So grateful for everybody who came out, guests and friends and former members who had moved off and came back, kind of like a homecoming, and just a wonderful day. I do want to give a shout out, Mayor Gail Wilking and her husband, the First Dude. They came both Friday night and Sunday. They kind of sandwiched Moon Pie Festival, right? We were the bread around the Moon Pie Festival.
You even had Episcopalians in the house.
Absolutely. Yeah. We packed the house with all kinds of, when you're non-denominational, you love them all.
That's right.
So had a great weekend. So I appreciate some folks from the radio program stopped by, and appreciate you guys stopping in. It was just really a good weekend for us. And, 50 is a big deal. I'll tell you a neat story. For quite some time now, couple of months, I've been working on putting together a book for my dad that he had written, taking some of his devotions that he had shared and his grandpa stories and all that stuff, and I compiled them into a book because he always signs off, if you follow him on Facebook, he always signs off just an old-time country preacher. Mm-hmm. So that was the name of the book, just an old-time country preacher. And I took 50 of his stories, one for each year, and put together books, about 140 something pages. And I was working my tail off. When we went to McAllen for my stepmother's funeral, my wife drove all the way. It's like 11 hours. And I sat in the passenger seat with my laptop working on it. And then I stayed up till 2, 3 in the morning working on it. I finally submitted it to Amazon for final review on Wednesday morning around 2:30 in the morning. And it got approved by Amazon on Friday. So then I ordered 10 copies, and it's like to be delivered on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, the Amazon driver came during the service and delivered the 10 copies. And so I got to make that presentation to Dad. So that was a lot of fun. And I had a lot of people mention, I had him on last week as my early morning guest here on the show with you. Thank you for suggesting that and allowing that. And so many people have commented how much they enjoyed that.
It was good.
I enjoyed, getting to interview your own dad was just really nice. We need to bring your dad in here one day and talk about his life story.
I don't know.
You may not want him to tell the stories he knows, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But I had a great weekend, and I want to thank you for accommodating us with a great story you did. And so, that was all exciting stuff for us this weekend.
It was like y'all had fun. And
we did.
I saw some of the live stream. Wasn't able to make it, but looks like it was great for you and the family.
It really was. 50 years, that's nothing to sneeze at. And we put together, I had reached out to a few of my pastor friends, asked them to put together just a little greeting for my dad. And I sent text messages to about 20 pastors, thinking if half of them sent me a greeting, because I know I'm a pastor. Sometimes people ask me, you try to, but you can't always. Every single one sent a video greeting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes long. And so we played it during the dinner on the grounds part, Yeah. And just so really nice. Had other video greetings from missionaries from around the world that we support. And a really great weekend. I could gush on and on about it, but we need to talk about other stuff around.
Kind of sad I missed it. Should have made it out.
It was wonderful. It really was. We do have Matt Ritchie coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. I'm excited to have Matt in. As always, we get the scoop on what's happening. We find out the market conditions and the things that are maybe coming. And I look forward to hearing from Matt this morning at 8 o'clock. Before that is open line for you to call in on the BOM talk line, 318-442-8255. And definitely want to hear from you today. So ring those lines, ring that line. We got 3 open lines right now. So give us a call, 318-442-8255 before we get to the bottom of our break. I didn't get a chance to really follow you yesterday. Did you have any breaking stories for us or any news? I know the Rapides High is back open today. People were questioning that. They were closed yesterday, but they are back open today. But did you have any breaking stories yesterday? I guess I should have.
No, just kind of like good stuff.
Yeah.
Peabody, we talked to Coach Smith about their championship over the weekend, number 11 for him. I think he says this is his youngest group of kids he's ever brought to the Final Four. Bunch of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, so good for them.
He started 2 freshmen, and one of them became a team leader, I read. And so, yeah, it sounds like there was a neat story in the Rapides Journal that talked about how it was unlike, he said, usually it takes 2 to 3 years to develop a championship team, and not a single one of these players played on the 24 championship team. So they came together quickly.
That's pretty good, and good for them, excited for them. They're all excited in the school, too. So
number 10 for
11.
Oh, number 11. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I missed that.
Yep. Number 11. So,
that's impressive.
You know, legendary coach in the area.
And still coaching.
He said, I was talking to him because I had to interrupt his class for the interview. I was like, what do you teach? And I was assuming like PE or you know, history. It's advanced math.
Right.
And he's like, oh, this is my favorite part of the job. I was like, really? He's like, oh, coaching. I like this more than coaching. I was like, well, that's pretty awesome. I was like, I don't like your class very much, or I didn't back in the day, but that's pretty cool. Yeah. I was like, I assumed you just taught history or something.
Right, something easy.
Which I don't want to say it's a shame, but history should never be a throwaway.
I agree.
Should never be. And not saying all coaches are doing that, but
well, I will say,
you know, the stigma, right?
In high school, I didn't like history. I really didn't.
Oh, that was my favorite.
It felt like it was nothing but memorizing dates and names. That's what it felt like in high school. Now, I'm not saying it was. I'm sure the teachers did a great job, but to me, that's what I took away. I got to college, and Dr. Thomas Howe at LC, I don't know if you guys had him. He was probably retired by the time you got there. Man is a walking encyclopedia. And when he taught class, let me tell you what he would do. He would walk to the front of the class, and I had him on a Tuesday, Thursday. So that's an hour and a half long class, right? I'd had him on Tuesday and Thursday. He'd walk to the front of the class, pull a chair up, prop his foot up on the chair, lean over with his elbow on his knee, and begin to talk for an hour and a half. And you just were riveted as he unpacked history, made it come so alive. And so, yeah, ever since then, I have loved history.
I had some good history professors, too.
We've only got a minute or so. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
I'll give an update on the dairy house there at Bureau.
Say that one more time. The dairy?
Yep. Give us an update on the old dairy house there at Bureau.
Oh, the dairy barn. Yeah. So that's a great question. I will tell you that our committee that we worked with for several years, I think we started back in 2016, we accomplished what we set out to do, which was to preserve the exterior of the dairy barn. It was the north wall, the one with the big barns the big barn doors on top, was bulging out and about to fall. And so Kendra Van Cleef, who started the organization and then brought several of us along with her, had that vision of restoring the exterior. And thankfully, we have done that. The exterior is fully restored. And then a few years ago, the legislature passed a law that said it could never be sold. It would always perpetually belong to the state. This year, though, there is discussion. I think Senator Luno, if you're listening, would love to have you call in and give clarity. My understanding is they're trying to do some things to make it either available for a long-term lease. I don't know that it'll be available for sale, but they're trying to make it where a private enterprise could come in and reuse it for something else. So that's kind of where it is right now. The legislature this spring will give some clarity to that. Senator Luno taking the lead on that. He's taking the lead on the funding. So appreciative, though, of Representative Larvadain and whose district he's in, Representative Johnson, who was actually a member of the committee before he was a representative, and worked so hard and continues to support the efforts there. So that's kind of the update I have right now.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your call. Appreciate that. Got another caller on the line, but we've got to take the break. We'll come back with more calls right after this on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Despite the conflict in the Middle East, Delta is positive on its financial outlook. The airline says it is well positioned to navigate the current environment. Delta issuing a more optimistic sales target for this quarter on bookings from leisure and corporate flyers. The global aviation industry has been thrown into disarray since the conflict began, along with having to navigate complicated flight paths around war zones. Airlines have also been hit by surging jet fuel prices, which is about a third of its operating costs. Turning to the markets, the rally for stocks stalling out this morning. The Middle East conflict continues to reverberate across markets, oil rising to $96 a barrel following attacks on key energy infrastructure in the region. Stock futures are little changed. And everyone's a little Irish on St. Patrick's Day. According to the National Retail Federation, spending this holiday is expected to reach a record $7.7 billion. Top purchases are, unsurprisingly, food and beverages. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's time to spring into reading. The Rapides Parish Library Easter Basket Read-Off hops back March 1st through April 1st. Log your reading in Beanstack for a chance to win an extra special Easter basket packed with goodies. The more you read, the more chances you have to win. 4 winners at every branch, ages 0 to 5, 6 to 12, teens, and adults. So grab a book and read your way to a happy spring surprise. Visit RPL for details.
Good morning. Things slowly starting to warm up as temperatures will get up to 58 today. We'll see winds out of the northeast only about 5 miles an hour. Tonight, clear skies back down to 36. Our Wednesday, another sunny day and warmer yet. Afternoon highs up to 71. Back down to 46 Wednesday night and more sunshine, highs near 80 on Thursday. From the Sedlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BON Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BON Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback on this Tuesday. I like to call it a terrific Tuesday. It is St. Patrick's Day, so happy Irish Day to all of you who enjoy the color green. I'm even wearing a green shirt today in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Good morning, sir.
I wanted to call in again about your dad. My dad was also a longtime coach. 31 years he coached, and he taught math as well. When y'all said that Peabody coach, it reminded me of Daddy. That's what gave me my love for math, especially algebra, because it's so concrete and solid. Geometry is a little more abstract, but that algebra I really love. But anyways, your dad, with that interview you had and then all the things you've been speaking of, it showed a quality of life and a depth of life that the world just can't mimic. It tries, but it can't. And I listened to one of my favorite podcasts is a podcast called Politics by Faith by a guy named Mike Slater. Y'all actually use him on one of y'all's insurance commercials. But he interviewed this guy, Stephen Meyer, who is a molecular biologist or something. He's a scientist on the Nth degree, and he was talking about intelligent design and the fact that the elite atheists have basically given up on evolution because there's just no way to prove it. Matter of fact, they had a symposium where they were begging for hardcore evidence to continue to validate that theory. And there isn't. The better we get in technology, the deeper we can see into the cell, the human body and its creation, the more we see the glory of God on display. And so anyways, as a UPS man, I had a unique opportunity to survey thousands and thousands of people. And yes, I saw people who lived as atheists. They didn't go to church, and they had a somewhat high quality life, but they did it because they usurped patterns of relationships from the scriptures, from God's way. They had a network of friends. Now, maybe they even gathered together on their hatred of God, but they gathered together with they patterned themselves after those things. What made me think about this is when Slater was interviewing Dr. Mayer, he asked him about this, and he said, "Why don't people just give in Why don't they give in and say, yes, we see God's glory in creation everywhere. Anyone who's had a child, oh my goodness, to watch that baby be born and then to see him come. Anyway, why don't they get, and he said, well, they refuse to give up their autonomy. They don't want to surrender and say, okay, you made me. How do you want me to live? Now, your father is a living example. He was honest about the struggles he faced. But anybody listening to him honestly could see that man lived a depth of life that few experience. The quality relations, all those people that came out to y'all's church, it's all speaking of a depth. And it reminds me of during the 70s, the big war against marriage, where people say, oh, we don't need a piece of paper. We love each other, so we're just going to live together. Well, you'll never know what it's like to commit to one person. You can never know that intimacy because you can always jump out of it. So anyways, it was just an obvious and awesome chance to glorify God in what you did. You interviewing him and speaking of him and then and the life that he's lived. And I just wanted to trumpet that a little bit because God has been so good to us all. Man, we all live like kings. We have it way better than we deserve. And so I would just say, just give in, man. Just go to that book and learn of him and receive all those blessings. And we could all have lives as deep as your dad's. And anyway, thanks for what y'all did. And I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
Man, David, thank you for that call, brother. Appreciate that affirmation of my dad. It's evident to know he's my hero. And I enjoyed very much. When I was 17, he wasn't very smart, because when you're 17, you know everything. Mm-hmm. But by the time I was 22, all of a sudden he got real smart in that 5-year span. And I've appreciated him ever since.
I don't feel like you're too rebellious, though.
I really wasn't.
Maybe I believe that theologically this is it, Dad, and you're wrong. I feel like the argument.
No, I really wasn't brave enough to tell him. Tell him that stuff then. Today we have good conversations. We agree on about 95% of everything, but we have a couple of variances. But no, I did a couple. I mean, I was a typical. I don't know if typical is the right word, but I had my share of rebelliousness, but at the same time, I did have a true experience with God as a teenager, and I was known as preacher man in school. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that. They knew I was going to be a preacher in school. I was licensed. I said I was 17 when I thought Dad didn't know anything. That's not fully true, but I think I was licensed when I was either 16 or 17, and so I've been preaching for a long time. Interesting story, though. The summer between my junior and senior year, I had taken part of an elective program that the parish offered to students. You had to qualify for it economically, and we did because Dad was a preacher, didn't make a lot of money. And so I think it was 6 weeks of welding and 6 weeks of auto mechanics at Peabody. And it was a great program to give people practical hands-on tools. And at the beginning of that summer, everybody knew me as the preacher guy. But by the end of the summer, I felt like I'd compromised my witness. I wasn't, full-blown on cussing, but I was kind of laughing at the dirty jokes and let a word slip every now and then. I really felt like I'd compromised my witness. And when I went back to school, I had been president of the Fellowship of Christian Students my junior year. And when I went back my senior year, I went to the sponsor, Mrs. Alsop, and I told her, I said, Mrs. Alsop, I've lost my witness over the summer. I can't be the president of the Fellowship of Christian Students. And I explained everything that happened. And I was crying, I felt horrible because I let the Lord down and let her down. And she gave me the clearest explanation of grace of anyone in my life. And she explained to me that in the repentance and then confession, there was forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And I have lived out of that grace ever since my senior year of high school because of that explanation that teacher gave me.
Sounds like a smart lady.
She really was brilliant.
All killed Christians, you'll be all right. So
I stood up and spoke at her funeral and told that story, and she really impacted my life in a deep way. So I appreciate that call from Dave. We've got 20 minutes to go to the top of the hour. We'll take some more phone calls, 318-442-8255, the BOM Talk Line. Give us a call.
KSYL.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter. At the clinics, your health is our priority. Whether it's a routine checkup or ongoing care, we are here for you. Dr. Noah Miller, our newest family medicine physician, along with 5 other dedicated family physicians, are now accepting new patients. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, if you're ever admitted to the hospital, our doctors will see you there too. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823, online at theclinics.us.
It's springtime in Cenla and time to explore. Feeling adventurous? Go biking or hiking in the National Forest or camping at the many recreation areas that offer canoeing, kayaking, boating, and fishing. Fun for the whole family. Check out the animals at the zoo, on a petting farm, or at a drive-through safari. Love golf? Then hit the links. And for those with a taste for freshness, don't miss our farmers market. Visit explorelouisiana.com to plan your trip today. Want more ideas? Go to alexandriapinevillela.com.
Blended families, bonus children, and co-parenting can bring amazing experiences, but it can also be overwhelming and complicate your estate plan. How can families navigate the process when entering into this wonderful journey? I'm George Fine with Fine Legal Services. When it comes to your family's questions, our team can make planning for the future seamless and transparent. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com.
LSBA number LA2316294.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talk Back as we get ready to head into the rest of the week. Yesterday morning, Rapides Registrar of Voters were back in their office, and you did a nice story on them talking to Sandy Bonnet. I know they were excited about their new digs.
Yeah, it's so nice in there. You know, they redid the whole Registrar of Voters office downstairs in the Rapides Parish Courthouse. So all of your voting business will be done there. I registered to vote finally yesterday.
Good.
And I'm a no partier, so here's what you got to remember. If you're independent, no party, you have to declare if you want to vote in the primary. And once you declare into that party, you have to stay in that party.
Just for the general.
For that general election.
Then the next cycle you could change.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So per each cycle, once you vote in the primary, you stay that way in the general.
Yes.
If there's a runoff. If there's not a runoff, then
when you get to November, then or the fall or where both parties are going against each other, you can vote whatever you
want, right.
And if you're Republican, you can vote Democrat.
That's important to clarify. Saw an interesting poll came out over the weekend. Let me see if I can find this. The interesting number that came to me, and I think it was run by Letlow, but latest poll puts her as the number one. We had been seeing John Fleming had been number one, but Letlow's latest poll puts her up over those other two, and Cassidy's in third spot. And if that poll holds out, it's going to be a Letlow-Fleming runoff.
Well, did you see Gumbo Gate?
No, I did not.
Oh, you have to look up Gumbo Gate.
I have to look it up?
So this is what's going on the internet. Senator Bill Cassidy posted a picture of gumbo with collard greens in it.
Oh.
And tomatoes.
Oh.
And he goes, the pastor told me to do this with gumbo. I tried it out. It's pretty good.
Oh.
And the comments are so funny. Like, dude, are you trying to throw this election?
No.
I'm just saying what the internet's saying. It's funny. And like the Sadvocate, like the parody website in Louisiana, is like, you should see the headlines they have.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. And I'm sure it's good. Don't get me wrong, but and I think some, they said some Creole areas in the New Orleans area, they would do that, put collard greens in there and different stuff.
Well, yeah.
But the mainstream Louisianans are pretty upset about that. They're like, that must be above I-10 gumbo.
Cassidy campaign manager resigns after learning candidate also adds kale to etouffee.
Yeah.
That's the Sadvocate headline this morning.
They're like, oh, throw it in the tall grass out there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I know. Why?
Can you?
And it's sad. That's like a big deal. But why? It's a big deal.
Oh, I missed that somehow. That's hilarious.
Gumbo Gate kept me laughing last night.
Oh yeah, that's great stuff. Wow. Well, I will tell you now. I do I do decide to go to the phone right now. I'm going to save myself from what I was about to say. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Well, by definition, gumbo is a heavy soup, and you can put what you want in a soup. But it's my understanding that when Lent begins in the greater New Orleans area, there's a Catholic tradition of making a gumbo out of greens.
Yes. It's like gumbo le gras or something. I don't know. So.
But anyway, it has to have at least 7 different kinds of greens in it to
make up for not having meat, huh?
Well, I suppose so. But as a recovering biologist, crawfish and fish both are meat by definition.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, they are literally physical meat, the same kind of meat that's in your arm right now.
But we don't go by world's definitions. We go by other definitions.
Yeah, but anyway, I was taken aback by everybody raising Hades about combat people getting steak and lobster. Because when I was a food service officer in the Air Force back in several decades ago, we regularly had high-level meals at least once a month. When I say high level, like prime rib and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was figured into the way the menu was set up by headquarters. Now, and we regularly had shrimp, and shrimp was considered a high-end type of meal as well. So give me a break.
Well, I don't know who complains about that, because I mean, personally, I think those soldiers deserve if they're on R&R, they get a break from the front lines, they get a good meal. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a registered no party,
right,
or whatever they call it, but the Democrats are going to have to make a miraculous change for me to ever pull a lever for a Democrat. I mean, it's just. I mean, this sex situation with in sports and this, that, and the other, that's just totally absurd. I mean, to the point of making me wonder what their sanity is. So anyway, I mean,
it's interesting because there are some countries around the world, including Peru, that say that transgenderism is a mental illness. It's actually written in their law, and yet to the Democrats, it's become kind of like a crowning point of the agenda.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't care if somebody wants to pretend they're whatever they're not. That's their own business. But to enact it into law makes no sense at all.
Well, we had the conversation yesterday. My son made the comment that men can have babies. And I said, what? He said, just ask Siri. And he asked Siri, and Siri said, yes, men can have babies. Anyone with ovaries can have babies. Like, but men don't have ovaries. What are you talking about? So it's everywhere. It's pervasive. I'm not sure how we got on that from Gumbo, but I appreciate your call.
Okay, catch you later.
Yes, sir. Always enjoy hearing from the chief biologist here on Talkback. We need to hear good, competent science all the time. So, but that was good clarification you gave yesterday on the no party. We need to be reminded of that often because it is a huge change for Louisiana. If you're used to what we used to be called the jungle primaries or the open primaries, you could vote for. Really, everybody ran against everybody. I preferred that. That's just me, because I have been no party for 20 plus years, maybe 30 years. But I did register Republican at 18. In fact, I went back and found I registered on my birthday. I was a proud Reagan Republican, in 1983. But then some years later, about 10 years later, switched to no party and have been happy to fly that flag because that's for me and my role as a pastor. I felt like that was a better role to take.
Yeah, all right, same as a journalist. That's
exactly right. All right, last break of the hour. More phone calls, we hope. 442-8255, 318, of course, on the front end of that. Then Matt Ritchie, top of the hour. Stick around for more great radio on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
I'm Blake Miguez, and I approve this message. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm Blake Miguez. I'm a seventh-generation Louisianian. My family has been part of this state for centuries, built businesses, raised families, and lived by the values that make Louisiana, Louisiana. Conservative groups rated me the most conservative candidate in Louisiana's 5th congressional race. And President Trump gave my campaign his complete and total endorsement, calling me a MAGA warrior, because when he needs someone in Washington who will fight hard, he knows he can count on me. President Trump has counted on me. Louisiana has counted on me. I won't let either one down. I'm Blake Miguez, Trump's MAGA warrior. I'm ready for this fight, and I'm asking for your vote. Paid for by Miguez for Louisiana.
Starting a business shouldn't feel overwhelming. At Janney-King Gulf Coast, we give you a clear, proven path to ownership. You'll receive guaranteed initial counts, local support, and the training you need to succeed from day one. For over 35 years, we've helped people turn steady careers into thriving businesses, and you could be next. Start your journey today at JanneyKingCleans.com.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Problems. Everybody hates them, but from time to time, everybody's got some. And that's why everybody needs to know about Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Heating or cooling problem? Call Southern Air. Plumbing or drain problem? It's Southern Air again. Your power's out and you need a generator? Guess who? And you can keep those problems away this winter with a heating tune-up. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling now at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
Throw my money.
Well, we're enjoying Talk Back.
We were
here.
on air.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We get to throw our money away on all kinds of good things, like cracklins. Do you like cracklins?
I love them. They don't love me.
Yeah, chicken cracklins. Do you have a cracklin favorite place around? We don't want to make anybody mad, but
Quibido's is really good.
Yeah, they got the best chicken cracklins hands down.
Dalton's in like Kinder area.
Yeah, locally I like Guillory's
Dalton's,
and DeBarges. I don't know who you're talking about.
Dalton's was in McNary, but they're not open anymore. Remember that gas station in McNary?
I don't know.
Oh. You know by Glenmore?
I know. I mean, I passed through there, but I don't know if I ever stopped.
Well, there's a gas station if you're going towards Glenmore from here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dalton's, but they shut down.
Oh, really?
You know, I hate it.
I saw something odd this morning. You know the gas station on the corner of Bolton and Jackson, the Exxon there?
Yeah.
It's been closed for a couple of months now, but there was a guy getting gas there this morning.
I think the gas is still running.
Well, that's odd. And then someone had posted the 414 Main had cheap gas, so I ran through there this morning on the way here just to check. Circle K was like $3.39 a gallon. They were $2.95 a gallon. So
yeah, when I went there, God, it shot up since last week. I went there last week. It was $2.50.
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody still lower than everybody else.
They're about 30 to 40 cents lower. When last week Carol Ward called in and talked about the Citgo up in Ball, how much cheaper they were. And so I actually left here and went up there and filled up. And, at 40 cents a gallon.
You drove to Ball to fill up?
I drove to Ball to fill. But, I saved almost $8.
Oh, wow.
On one thing. I mean, I was slap dab on empty. But at 45 cent savings, that's a good chunk of change over. I won't do it for 10 cents a gallon. It's not worth it, for $1.60. But for $8 or $9. So
I spent like $3.50 2 days ago. Man, that gas is shooting up. Mm-hmm. It is shooting up fast.
Someone commented the station on Exxon shut down on the corner of Bolton and Jackson. Well, I guess it just says that station. I'm assuming they're talking about the one. They may be talking about Dalton, so I'll get him clarification because you're listening. But he said that station shut down because of storm damage and never reopened.
That's Dalton.
That's Dalton's?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Real-time updates right there.
Yeah.
So
they shut down when I left.
Because of you. All because of you.
Yeah, they didn't have my business anymore.
Right. I think DeBarges has some really good cracklins.
I've never had theirs.
They're very good. They're worth going for. When I'm over in that part of the town, I'm a cracklin fanatic. I really do.
Oh, they're the best.
Especially if you're trying to do low carb, high protein. I figure to me that's a good cheat. Cracklings is nothing but fat.
Yeah, but
protein.
like 65 million grams of fat.
Yeah, but I don't do that. I don't worry about fat. It's the carbs I'm trying to get rid of. Of course, obviously, if you compared your physique to mine, you obviously know more than I do.
Well, just remember this. That's not what I'm saying, but 1 gram of fat is 9 calories.
Yeah.
1 gram of carb is 4.
Oh.
So you get more bang for your buck.
You're
with carbs.
messing with my head now.
However, fat might make you feel fuller longer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that's why I like it.
And protein is 4 calories per gram. So fat is the most calories per gram.
Interesting.
Just remember that.
But why is it then that these athletes, when they get ready to do something, they carb load? I hear them talking about carb load.
Because carb is the energy source.
Yeah, so it's more of a direct
It's
energy.
a quick energy source.
Okay.
So that's why people drink Powerade when they're playing basketball.
Because if there's more carbs for fat, then wouldn't you eat a bunch of fat? Or it'd make you feel heavy?
Oh, it would make you feel heavy.
Okay.
Now, there's some people who claim they've trained themselves to use fat as an energy source for competition or athletics. But I think it's a bunch of hooey-booey stuff, and I think it's something that could take a lot of time.
Okay, I think I mixed my metaphors a while ago, though. So fat has more calories, but it has to be converted into energy. I mean, calories are energy, right? Or are they measurements of...
Calories are energy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have one gram gives you 9 and 1 gram gives you 4, but carb is a direct energy.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they're all, but it's like that quick burning energy source, right? So I'm sure there's more science behind it.
That's probably the difference between pine kindling and oak, right?
That's right. Seriously, that's a good point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. We mix our metaphors and dangle our participles around here, so beware of listening to talkback. I hope that doesn't become the tagline.
But you got to pick fat or carbs.
Can't do both.
You can't do a lot of both. That's your high calorie options that taste really good are usually high fat and high carb.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no bueno.
You want either or, not both and.
Yeah. Like if you're if you look at macros, my diet's going to be mostly carbs, mostly protein with some fat. But you could switch it up throughout the day. All that matters is calories. It's thermodynamics. You got to burn more than you put in if you want to lose weight.
Yeah.
So you could eat fat all day as long as you eat the proper amount. You could eat gummy bears and lose weight all day. You probably wouldn't feel good. So.
I do love me some gummy bears.
Oh, I do too.
I got addicted to, what's those things? Trolleys? I think they're called trolleys.
The gummy worms?
Gummy worm, but the sweet sour ones.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, they can mess with you. So, hey, don't forget, coming up at 8 o'clock, Matt Ritchie will be in the house, and we'll be talking about all sorts of things. Central Louisiana economic development. He might even remind us of a parking lot that needs to be paved. He'll tell us about the new stuff coming to town and take your phone calls on the BOM talk line, 318-442-8255. So stick around for that.
Thank goodness he's coming in because we're just talking a bunch of nonsense. Tomato gumbo.
I just Googled vegetable gumbo, and apparently it's called Lenten gumbo or gumbo zerbs.
There's another, it's like gumbo le something.
Gumbo le gras?
I don't know what it is, but it's something vegetable-y.
By the way, I did find out the other day, the word gumbo literally means okra in the original
I didn't know
African country that it came from.
I do not like okra in my gumbo.
I don't like okra.
I don't like okra that much. It's slimy.
I like pickled okra.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, give it a try.
Did you know jumbo? We call everything jumbo that's big, like jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
That's just named after an elephant. He's the most famous character of all the history.
That's true.
He's have an everlasting impact on us.
Better than Dumbo, right?
That's where Dumbo came from, was Jumbo the elephant. It's amazing.
That is really interesting. Jumbo the elephant. Okay.
I saw
Well,
a video yesterday.
You'll get more insightful information that's really worth something with Matt Ritchie after the break.
Just
Thanks,
don't put any kale in your gumbo.
No kale.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 18 of war, and Israel says 2 top Iranian officials have been killed in an IDF strike. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, through an interpreter.
I was updated by the chief of staff that the secretary of the National Security Council, Larry Jani, and the head of the Basij, the main oppression body of Iran, were eliminated overnight.
BBC's Jeremy Bowen on Larry Jani, Iran's security chief.
He has been seen as a man of flexibility, somebody who sees all the angles. And he's seen as a man that maybe you could do business with, but the issue is the Israelis don't want to do business with any of them.
Iran has launched a fresh wave of attacks on the United Arab Emirates energy and transport infrastructure. Nasty weather's made its way from the upper Midwest to the southeast, where strong winds toppled a tree onto a home in Atlanta, barely missing Tanya Steve's 95-year-old mother.
I heard like metal breaking, glass breaking, but she got out just in time. She was in her bed.
It's only 16 degrees in parts of Illinois right now. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
It's one of the coldest St. Patrick's Day on the East Coast that we've seen in quite some time. Matter of fact, here in Chicago, it's been 80 years since we've seen a St. Patrick's Day this cold. A far cry from what they had on Saturday when they had the big celebration with temperatures in the 60s.
They're digging out from a blizzard in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The head of the Postal Service goes to Capitol Hill today. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
The Postmaster General is expected to tell Congress USPS is bleeding money and will run out of cash in 2027.
The owner of a Colorado funeral home has been sentenced to 18 years in federal prison.
3 years ago, investigators responding to calls of a foul smell at the Return to Nature funeral home in Penrose found 190 decomposing bodies. Owners Carrie and John Halford had sold cremation services but never performed them. Derek Johnson learned the urn he received contained cement mix, not his mother's ashes.
I felt this shame that her life would be remembered for her death and not the wonderful person that she was.
Carrie Halford was sentenced Monday to 18 years in prison for fraud. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Tonight's World Baseball Classic Championship is all set.
There goes Garcia from first. It's thrust to left center field. Jacob Murphy won't get there. The hit parade continues, and so does the fiesta for Venezuela and Miami.
Venezuela staged a wild 4-2 comeback against Italy on Fox to advance to the title game for the first time ever. They'll face Team USA at 8 p.m. Eastern. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning. This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
Another possible casualty of the Iran war, a royal visit to the U.S.
I'm Vicki Barker in London. With President Trump aiming verbal potshots at Prime Minister Keir Starmer over Britain's refusal to join the Iran war, there are growing calls for King Charles and Queen Camilla to cancel or postpone next month's planned visit to the U.S. British lawmaker Emily Thornberry.
The last thing that we want to do is to have Their Majesties embarrassed.
The fear is that Trump might diss the Prime Minister in the King's presence and insult Charles would find it hard to overlook. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
The woman at the center of the Coldplay Kiss Cam drama, Kristen Cabot, spoken exclusively to Oprah about the moment she and her then boss, Andy Byron, were caught on video.
This notion of women stealing men, like I would walk in and duct tape and zip tie a guy and like unwittingly drag him out and steal. Like the man has no role in this. There was no one talking about Andy's hair, shirt, watch.
Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Colleen Crane. U.S. Education Secretary Linda McMahon has come out in support of Governor Jeff Landry's effort to double the state funding of the LA Gator Scholarship Program. The state is spending $44 million on the program this school year, helping 5,600 families with education expenses like private school tuition, with many on a waiting list. Senate President Cameron Henry is concerned the program could get too big to afford. LawPolitics.com publisher Jeremy Alford says LA Gator also has public backing.
There are going to be a lot of parents who are in support of sending their kids to private school and using public money. At the end of the day, it's the art of the compromise.
The Louisiana House Transportation Committee rejects a proposal to fine pedestrians $25 for looking at their cell phone while walking on a crosswalk. Chris Alexander with the Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group testified against the legislation.
This is just government overreach at its finest. It's not the role of government to micromanage every stupid decision the citizens of the state make.
LRN. When it comes to turning old buildings into new buildings, few states have done it better than Louisiana.
Since 2021, Louisiana has rehabilitated more than 400 historic buildings and placed them back into service with the help of federal tax incentives. Andrea McCarthy, the tax credit program director of the Louisiana Office of Cultural Development, says there are requirements, including the building needing to be on the National Register of Historic Places. Also,
the building does have to be income producing in some way. However, it can be a change in use.
Last year, Louisiana completed 94 such projects, second only to New York. I'm Andrew Greenstein.
Filmed in Louisiana, the movie Sinners received 16 Oscar nominations and took home 4 Academy Awards Sunday night, including Michael B. Jordan's Best Actor Award. Many Louisianians in the industry are encouraged because not only was the movie filmed in Louisiana across multiple locations, including Donaldsonville, Bogalusa, Thibodaux, and St. Bernard, but Louisiana artists and craftspeople were a significant part of the crew. LRN.
The world once needed lots of paper made right here in central Louisiana. Now we're making a comeback with clean methanol. Beaver Lake Renewable Energy will turn Louisiana wood into fuel, creating hundreds of direct and indirect jobs and giving loggers a steady market again. It's not just a plant, it's a promise to our land, our people, and our future. Visit beaverlakerenewable.com and find out how we're putting central Louisiana back on the map.
Good morning. Things slowly starting to warm up as temperatures will get up to 58 today. We'll see winds out of the northeast only about 5 miles an hour. Tonight, clear skies back down to 36. Our Wednesday, another sunny day and warmer yet. Afternoon highs up to 71. Back down to 46 Wednesday night and more sunshine, highs near 80 on Thursday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Happy Tuesday morning. Welcome back to Talkback. And in the studio this morning, braving the cold and the traffic, Matt Ritchie in the house. Good morning, Matt. Hold on. How are you, sir?
Good. Good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Stephen.
Morning.
Good to be here with you both and all of our listeners out there.
Absolutely.
It's good to be back in town. Seems like I've been going somewhere every week for like the last 8 months.
You've been everywhere, man.
I was in Lisa and I went to Seattle, Washington last week on the campaign trail, visiting actually 5 states in that region: Montana, Washington State, Oregon, and Alaska.
Which was your favorite?
Well, so we didn't hit off. So all the states came to Seattle for a regional, what they do, an annual regional meeting amongst all their leadership. And so we had the opportunity to go there and speak to their leadership and campaign and try to convince them to vote for me. Because on June 18th, there'll be an election of 1,052 eligible voters that's going to be vote for me. And those voters are all dispersed around all 50 states. And we'll convene in Washington, D.C., and hopefully, we'll come out a winner. I am running against a candidate from Florida, Florida's the biggest state in the country. But we're picking up. So I can just feel the support. I mean, even though we're the underdog as far as state-wise, size-wise. I've got a lot of support out there. So it's been really, really good. Seattle was snowing and cold. Just like this morning. Where did this cold come from?
I got up yesterday morning, and the valleys of my house had white accumulation in the valleys. I don't know if it was snow or sleet or I don't know
it
what
was 80 degrees Sunday. So
and then I was listening to the national news this morning, and it's going to be 100 degrees in California today, and we're over here freezing. I had to bring the plants in last night.
Well, what's interesting, that the place we stayed at, and we were at this, was close to the airport. And so Lisa decided I had a free afternoon on Friday. We decided to go ahead because the flight, the way that, Seattle's 2 hours behind, Louisiana. And then with almost a little over a 4 hour flight, it's a 6 hour travel time. So you leave there at 1:45, you don't get here till almost 8 o'clock at night. So you kill an entire day. So we weren't going to be able to make it back on Friday. So we decided to stay. So it was snowing, like heavy, heavy snow where the hotel we were at. And then we drove 30 minutes into downtown Seattle, and it wasn't snowing at all. It was just light mist, like it rains all the time. So anyway.
Did you go to the Space Needle?
We did not. We've been there before.
Oh, okay.
We did not. We went to the Pike's Market, the Pike Street Market, and where they throw the fish and do that old deal. We did all that and just kind of hung out downtown.
That was my favorite place as a kid.
Is that right?
Space Needle. We lived there for about a year and a half. So.
All right. Oh, great. Look, great sushi, by the way.
Oh,
we did find a great sushi restaurant.
When they throw fish through the air, it's going to be great sushi. So I do have a very important question. Right. How are the TSA check lines?
Fortunately, knock on wood, we didn't experience any delays.
Good.
And so, it wasn't bad. And so, but I'm seeing the pictures of all the lines in some of the airports, and what a disaster. I mean, that is an absolute disaster. And fortunately, if you hadn't flew out of Alexandria lately, they have the new technology where they scan, they like the bigger airports do. They just, you hand them your ID, and you just go through line. They scan your face, and they go in. And so, that line generally only lasts maybe 10, 15 minutes at worst. And sometimes if you don't get there early enough, you do get caught in it. But because I got it in a habit for a long, long time, I would just kind of slide on in right in time, right before the boarding cut. But now you have to get to Alexandria Airport an hour ahead. If your flight's at 10, you've got to get there at 9 at the latest, because there are risks. I've seen it where folks have TSA was so long, and even though the airlines knew that folks are in line, they left. They closed the door. So they have strict instructions. Think about all the dollars, and think about all the people and all the other schedules that are impacted if they don't follow those schedules. So anyway, I don't know how we got caught on that, but I'll talk about traffic. Traffic was terrible this morning. 107 was congested. Get on the expressway, it was congested. I come over the expressway Overton, I hit Hill Street. All that was, the traffic was so heavy this morning. I don't know what's going on a Tuesday morning in March, but the third Tuesday of March, I don't know what's going on, but
it's St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's out celebrating. There you go.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I live in Central. I love living here because we don't have traffic.
Right.
Yeah, same.
Once that traffic gets bad, there's not much reason. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding, Deborah.
No,
you said it.
We like traffic. I talked to Mike Johnson, asked me to give a presentation at the North Rapids Business and Alliance Group. The first, I guess that was the first Monday of this month, a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about that. So I talked about that a little bit about. I mean, we most of us live here because we grew up here. It's home. We love it, and we also want all the things that bigger cities have, but
without the bad side.
Without the bad side, right? Yeah. So I mean, every time I go to Baton Rouge, I think about, I like coming to Baton Rouge. There's great places to go and shop and eat, but I wouldn't want to fight that traffic every day. I would not want to do that.
I know we're going to make some economic developers mad out there, but I'd rather just not have some of the amenities and get to where I'm going with no problems.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, but look, this is the beauty of it. This is what I truly believe. I truly believe that we are who we are, and if everybody that just understands that, we have a certain demographic here. We only have a certain median income. Our household income is around $60,000 a year. Our average household income, let me repeat that, average household income, that's husband and wife, is $60,000 a year. Think about that. And so when that's our average household income for the entire Rapides Parish, those incomes can only support certain types of businesses. You know, look, I love the fact that TJ Maxx is in Pineville now. And I know that's been, I've saw so many things, but TJ Maxx is a discount store.
Yeah, right.
TJ Maxx, I mean, it's not Macy's. It's
Right.
not, I mean, it's not, you know, a market rate, you know, type store. But I know people that would travel to Lafayette and to Shreveport and other big markets just to go to TJ Maxx. So I think the fact that we are able to land them and have a new, have a concept that wants to come here, I think is fabulous. But if you really sit back and think about, it's a discount store. And like a lot of, you know, Harbor Freight, we got Harbor Freight coming, which by the way, if you haven't been by the intersection of 165 and 167, and now that all the construction's over, you can get in on the ramps, and we got a new sign put up over at the Pine Shopping Center. Harbor Freight is putting up their double-sided entranceway right now.
It's glorious.
It's going to be, I mean, all that, you just feel the energy. You just feel the vibe and all the things going on over there. I'm super excited. I hit that Firehouse Sub a lot on my way home.
Oh, they're so
and so that Delaware area is just really coming along, and I think we're going to continue to see more growth over there, just because retail, thrives off of traffic.
Right.
You know, there's certain parts of town I hear on a regular basis. I hear community leaders, I hear residents say, "Well, I want to have this type of business in my neighborhood, or I want to have this type of business down in this area of the town." But if you don't have the traffic,
right,
the market's not going to. If the demand's not there and the traffic, retail is very, very simple. You have enough cars or enough people walking by or driving by on a daily basis, you're going to have businesses are going to show up because they know how many bananas they can sell. They know how many jugs of milk that they can sell. They also know how many hamburgers they'll sell, or tacos, or whatever they're selling. They know if so many people drive by that property, they'll sell so many of whatever they're peddling. It's really, really simple. So the areas that don't have that, you just don't have enough traffic. You just don't have enough people in the area. And even though it may be a convenience to you, doesn't mean that it's economically feasible and practical for that matter. Because I hear it literally on a weekly, monthly basis. Well, why don't we have this? Why don't we have this? Or why don't we have that? I just go back to if everybody just really would just settle down, understand, and think about the fact that retail is driven strictly off of traffic, and we have a median income of $60,000 a year. Our economy can only support so much business, and one of the things I also talked about at the North Rapides presentation was the fact that our economy, when you think about it, was built on projects coming, projects actually being here. There was no speculation. There was no we'll build it and we will come. You know, Central State Hospital opened in 1906. That's almost 100. It is. That's 120 years. 120 years ago. And then you had a couple years later, you had the VA hospital open. Then you had Pinecrest open. And so those were all in the early 1900s. That's about 100 years ago. Well, that created a workforce. Now, it wasn't a high dollar workforce, but it created a workforce that needed housing. And then obviously, once you have so many houses, then the commercial and the businesses start popping up. And then you hit kind of mid-century, and we had Procter & Gamble open up in the late 1960s. And then we had International Paper. And if you think about a lot of that industry located on the north side of the river. And then that's when you had a lot of the neighborhoods start popping up that we know today that were developed in the 70s and 80s. And so so if you just look at the history and the evolution of how Alexandria and Pineville were all developed and why they were developed, and just understand that unless we get new jobs, unless we get, more job creation, we're just not going to see a tremendous amount of new things. And by the way, I drove by Olive Garden yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, I drove by Olive Garden. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of cars in the park.
Uh-oh. The new is worn off.
I'm just telling you, corporate America, they don't care. If their sales aren't there.
Right.
Now, listeners, please, let me just take a moment. Please don't say that you heard that Matt Ritchie said on the radio show that Olive Garden's closing, because I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying we know that there have been concepts, and we forget about things sometimes, but we know that there have been concepts that come to town, invest millions of dollars into building a new building, training employees, bringing their product to market, and if the sales aren't there, they'll shut that baby down. I think, how long did Red Lobster last? Does anybody, do you remember Red Lobster?
Absolutely, I remember it. But what I also remember, though, the last year or so was horrible management. Horrible management.
And a lot of things have to, you're right, Nathan, a lot of things have to do with management. And because a well-run operation, think about, and I'm just going to take Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse has incredible management. They do a good. There's a reason why they are
thriving,
packed every day at lunch, all day long, every night. Chick-fil-A, Cane's, and there's a reason why Burger King's not open. But their management's terrible. I mean, they're the whole like from top down. I mean,
I think corporate knows that too. They've been doing these new gimmicks and stuff.
They're trying to do all kinds of stuff.
Call the CEO.
But if they're not doing the things that need to be done, which is customer service,
right,
treating the customer right, giving out a quality product,
right.
If they're not doing that, people aren't going to go, and it shows. But Nathan's telling me we're going to have to take a break. I got a lot of deals to talk about because I am going to report. We hadn't even gotten in. It's 20 minutes into the show, and we hadn't even talked about any real estate deals. But I do have some commercial sales and other sales of interest to talk about, reporting for the last 2 weeks. So we'll do that when we come back.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Some smiles sound like this, while others sound this way. If you'd like to improve the way your smile sounds, the folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver. Over the years, hundreds of Central Louisiana patients have visited Today's Dental and then left completely satisfied. Their dental implant procedure is amazingly simple, low anxiety, and completely affordable. Today's technology makes your beautiful smile easier than ever. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Want your smile to sound better? Give Today's Dental a call at 318-448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 318-448-4540.
Spring training is almost over, and Tuesday the Astros take on Pittsburgh. Airtime 11:50. You can hear the game on your home for the Astros. 94.7 ESPN.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
Welcome back to Talk Back. Got about 5 minutes for the bottom of the hour. We went a little long in that break, and we haven't even talked about the first note on Matt's list of notes that he brought with him here. He's got some comprehensive notes that I know that he prepares for us. By the way, before you get into that, I had a texted comment from a loyal listener who says, I'll probably never in my life set foot in TJ Maxx, but I'll be in Harbor Freight at least once a week. My guess is his wife will be at TJ Maxx.
That's exactly right. There's something about that combination. I think they figured out, because if you look at, they follow each other.
Do they really?
And not in every shopping center.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
But they do. And
complimentary.
And so and we have gotten a lot of positive feedback about Harbor Freight. And matter of fact, I know the amount of capital we had to put into the space just to get it to a certain point for them. And then I know the amount of capital they're actually putting into the finished build out. And it's going to be a very, very right. I'd venture to say it's going to be probably one of the nicest stores I have.
Nice. Is this building, the build out we're seeing right now, is that them doing that, or is that you doing that?
Yeah, no, that's them doing. Okay. I brought it to a certain point. Okay. I had to install a roll up door. I had to get all the sprinkler systems
separated from the rest.
Separated and I had to turn all the heads up, and I had to go in and obviously basically white box it. I had to rough in all the plumbing, bring electrical plumbing, everything to the space, and they're taking it from there.
So you still have about 10,000 square feet though between Harbor Freight and TJ Maxx, right?
We have about 14,000.
And that will front the parking lot of the Raising Cane's parking lot.
Yeah, and it doesn't probably, if you're looking at it, probably you go, how you can fit
I know, I did think that.
But if when you see it, it'll all fit. You'll have like a little bump out similar to Ollie's. Ollie's has that little bump out, has a little entranceway. It'll be similar to that between TJ Maxx and Harbor Freight.
Okay. Very nice.
I do not have a tenant for it yet. So anybody listening out there that might have a local business that says, you know what, I want to take advantage of all that traffic that's about to be generated right there, give us a call, really, because I am talking to and working on a tenant for that space, another national tenant, but I do not have a lease signed. They are dragging their feet. Like, it took me 3 years to do this. It took me 3 years. Now, the last year was an economy issue, but just getting TJ and Harbor across the finish line was a 3-year practice.
You've shared some of those details with us from time to time. That anatomy of a deal would be a phenomenal case study of what it's taken to get both of those there, between having to talk to other people in the shopping center, the national stuff, the tariff stuff. I mean, that was a huge undertaking.
It's a lot of moving parts, and and just the true cost, because the reality of it is the bank wants their payment every month.
Amazing how that works.
And the bank requires you to have insurance, and your insurance company wants you to make that payment every month. And
you got nobody in there paying you rent.
Exactly. And Rapides Parish and City of Pineville,
they like their taxes.
They want their tax, and so and they don't just say, hey, just because the property's vacant, you don't owe it. And that's another part of the deal that I think that, and I've talked about that pretty often too, when I'm talking to groups, and I know I've shared it on the air. I mean, folks, and I'm not saying this about me. I'm just talking about any developer out there who's buying something, building something, doing something. There's a lot of carrying costs. There's a lot of things that go into underwriting and making a deal of economically possible, or just it just costs the developer. It eats into any profit that there could be, and or prolongs any future cash flow by that amount of time. So anyway, it's a big deal. So any developer, anybody that that develops out there that tell them thank you, because we wouldn't have a lot of things in the market if we didn't have developers out there doing that deal.
Taking the risk.
Taking the risk, yeah.
So a lot of people are wondering if you have a hotline to Chick-fil-A because they're doing that pop-up over on 28. They're going to need a good location.
I've got their location. But if they don't show up quick, I have another quick serve user that's like, I've talked to the broker yesterday, like we're like $25,000 apart on price, and I know I'm not going to let $25,000 start and on that size of a transaction not make the deal happen. But they have a 6-month due diligence period, and they have some other thing. Goes back to what we were just talking about. They have a 6-month due diligence period. We're really, really close to cutting a deal with another quick serve, and it's not chicken. But it's not Chick-fil-A. But I think it would be a welcomed, user for the area. But the perfect spot I have is right behind Kmart. Or not? You know what? I got to quit saying Kmart.
Yeah,
right behind Harbor Freight.
There you go, between Harbor Freight and the hotel.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we will get into that. We're going to talk about a over $3.6 million land sale when we come back.
All right, more with Matt Ritchie right after this.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Some positivity on Wall Street this morning as investors buy the recent dips. Crude oil futures, though, are also higher as the Fed kicks off its big 2-day policy-making meeting this morning. Restaurants and bars could get lucky today. National Retail Federation says 3 in 5 consumers plan to celebrate big time, even though St. Patrick's Day falls outside a weekend this year. Total spending expected to reach a record $7.7 billion, up from $7 billion last year. The spandex market, though, is seeing red. Spandex maker Lycra filing for bankruptcy after years of being financially stretched. Amazon introducing 1-hour and 3-hour options for delivery for more than 90,000 products in thousands of cities as it expands the effort to compete with Walmart. Samsung winding down sales of its Galaxy Z trifold smartphone after only about 3 months. It was costing almost $3,000. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
If you've ever wanted to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, and didn't know where to start, Janney King Gulf Coast has already built the foundation for you. With guaranteed initial customers, hands-on training, and ongoing local support, you'll never feel like you're doing it alone, because you won't be. For over 35 years, we've helped people turn their dreams into real successful businesses. Take the next step. Discover a business built for you at JaneyKingCleans.com.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for takeoff.
United Express flights to Houston are taking off in May from Alexandria International Airport. Reservations are now open for twice daily flights operated by SkyWest Airlines. Skip the drive. With nonstop service to Houston, you're one step closer to nearly 200 destinations worldwide. And if you're a United Mileage Plus loyalty member, you can earn miles for your flights.
Houston, we have liftoff.
Book now at flyaex.org/united. Reunited. And we're so excited.
What's good for lunch? Wilmore's is good for lunch. Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express on the corner of North MacArthur and Bayou Rapides Road. Want a fresh, crisp, healthy salad? Wilmore's has them. Garden and chef salads, tuna or chicken salads. Prefer a sandwich for lunch? Then come get them hot or cold at Wilmore's. Ham, turkey, or roast beef subs, Italian, chicken, and club subs. And their hamburger is a real standout. Your good lunch is waiting at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express on North MacArthur Drive at Bayou Rapides Road.
Good morning. Things slowly starting to warm up as temperatures will get up to 58 today. We'll see winds out of the northeast only about 5 miles an hour. Tonight, clear skies back down to 36. Our Wednesday, another sunny day and warmer yet. Afternoon highs up to 71. Back down to 46 Wednesday night and more sunshine, highs near 80 on Thursday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
It's Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback, the best conversation anywhere in Rapides Parish. And we still haven't gotten to Matt's notes yet. But before we do that, let's go to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Matt.
Yes, could you tell me why the post office needs more money when they have people that cannot read delivering mail? Cherokee Lane does not sound like Navajo Trail. They're both Indian, but everybody out here gets everybody else's mail. I have never seen the like of it. And then one day I'll get 40 pieces of mail. The day before, I only got 2. I mean, it is just crazy. Thank you for letting me rant. And they want stamps for $1 a piece now.
All right. Well, there you go.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. I mean, thanks for calling. Always glad to give folks a opportunity. Matt, I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse or not, but I know customer services.
So obviously, you know, I had the big, not the big major one on Odom Street, but I had one of the larger post offices for sale over on Government Street we had that thing for sale for about 3 or 4 years. They were, you know, the post office was disposing of a lot of their assets, and then something's turned to where now they've actually decided not to sell it. And I had several offers on it. We had a lot of activity on it. We never could make it happen. But I know, look, there's a lot of complaints, and part of the problems with the post office is that, and that's why so many businesses are going to electronic and direct payment. I mean, you can't mail something and have. Here's the problem with my problem, and I won't get more into this, but my problem with the post office is it's not reliable. And when you pay for something, and when you participate with a service, there's got to be some sense of reliability.
Right.
And the post office used to be really, really reliable. And when it's not reliable anymore, when you can't depend on it to be on time, I mean, like literally, we mail things to different owners or different customers or prospects or vendors. You know, I've had vendors say, well, and you know, you know, I'm air quoting now, the checks in the mail.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you haven't paid us. Well, the checks, we mailed it, you know, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and they still hadn't received it. And so I think that's the biggest problem with the post office.
All right. Well, thank you, caller, for that question. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Matt Ritchie.
Good morning. Really look forward to Matt coming on whenever he comes on.
Well, thank you.
But I had a question. Y'all may have already talked about when is Harbor Freight opening in Pineville. Y'all may have already covered that this morning, and I wasn't on the call.
No, that's a good question. It's going to be late. I know their target, they started on February 18th is when they started their interior build out, and they moved pretty quick. The guy told me that they'll be open by the end of April, early May.
That's quick.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty quick.
Okay. Well, you got a winner with the TJ Maxx.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Really appreciate what you do for Central Louisiana.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much.
Thank you for saying
Great. Thank you, caller. Appreciate that call as always. Matt, it's time to talk about some deals. You got a $3 million sale?
We have a $3 million. Obviously, I researched all the sales, whether they're in our multiple listing service or not. Everything that's recorded in public record, I researched that every show. And so, but I did find it was because this wasn't even on the radar of this property was not listed that I'm aware of. I did a quick search of some databases. I didn't see where, so I'm not sure how it actually took place. But Kite Brothers LLC out of DeRidder, I remember Kite Brothers being an RV dealer. I'm not sure if Kite Brothers is even still open in DeRidder, but Kite Brothers LLC sells to Red Watson Ranch out of Texas, a 1,280 acre tract of land. It's located in the Pitkin area. Of $3,650,000. So that's approximately about $3,000 an acre. So that's a large land sale. You don't see that many large land tracts sell that often. And so I would imagine that's a timber tract. I'm not sure obviously what type of timber stand it had on it, or if it had been harvested already or replanted or anything like that. But that's about a $3,000, and so all that goes into consideration when you see land sales like that, because you have land value and then you have timber value, and then and that's on timberland. Then you have for ag, how much production, what type of soil you have, all those conditions make a difference. So I'm making all those comments because it's not a one size fits all. A lot of folks call and say, well, I heard that this land tract over here sold for, $4,000 an acre. Well, what was on it? What type of soil does it have? What's the access? I mean, there's all types of variables that go into the valuation of a piece of land.
So you mean farmland doesn't sell for $40,000 an acre?
in Boyce, Louisiana, it does.
Man.
And, that's actually a really good lead in. Actually, one of the things that's in my notes is that W.G. Yates, with a Y, construction, it says W.G. Yates and Sons Construction, and they're they're headquartered out of Dallas, Texas, to Applied Digital. And that was a construction of a data center. That's what the contract, that's what was recorded. And there's been a lot of speculation on, that we saw this land sale. We saw this $40,000 an acre land sale that butts up to or adjacent to or really close. You couldn't get any really closer to the Rotomaker Cleco power plant in Boyce. And I believe that's what drove the value of that particular tract.
That was recorded at the Rapides Parish Courthouse?
The contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you go to WGH.com. That's an impressive company.
Oh, they're huge. They're huge. They're a huge company. I mean, you drive all. I'm driven all over the South, and you see this big Yates sign on big construction projects. No, they're a huge general contractor in the South, and I'm not sure if they go all over the country, but I know they are in the South. Matter of fact, I believe they're doing the expansion on the Kinder, the new phase at the Kinder Coshada Casino.
Wow.
They're building a new tower or maybe even new. I'm not even sure what all they're doing. I know they're doing
that's a big one,
tens of $1 million construction project down there, and I know they're doing that. And matter of fact, I was driving. Where was I? I was in Texas somewhere. No, I was in San Antonio last week and a half, and I saw them working their big sign on a big construction project. So, but we didn't know. There's been a lot of speculation. There's still a lot of speculation on, is the deal finalized? Is the deal or all the moving parts, or all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed on the end result of that project? There's been a lot of, I know from my perspective, speculation, but what we just see now, we see a recorded contract for Yates to Applied Digital to build that, and you see a lot of site work done out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying we got to take a break. And so we've got more deals to talk about. We've got another $1 million plus transaction when we come back.
KSYL. This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinic's on North Dalton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
All right, welcome back to Talk Back. And just like we always do, we always go to the phone lines. to interrupt us. So good morning, caller. You're on Talk Back with Match.
Good morning. I just had a question as far as maybe a good steakhouse or a hot dog restaurant in Pineville, or maybe getting a steakhouse, something besides Mexican, Chinese in Pineville. And I'll hang up and listen.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call.
I do know that is it's a priority of the current administration. Really wants to get a steakhouse in Pineville. I also know that the Lou and Laura's new restaurant is supposed to have a steak on the menu. That's located right behind Taco Bell and Shipley's, right there on Military Highway. So I know there's a lot of angst and excitement for that to show up and see. Have a new restaurant option over there. I think there's a lot of opportunity for restaurants in that Kings Country. It's because it comes down to retail. It comes down to the amount of people who, as we said earlier, who drive by and who are concentrated. And think about all the jobs that are concentrated between Louisiana National Guard, between Camp Beauregard, and between Procter and Gamble, and all the folks, the prisons just right in Grant Parish that come into town, and all those folks that, Distran, Crest, all that industry that's sitting out in that area. Those people have to play. They eat, and they eat and they shop. That's why there's a second Lowe's in Rapides Parish right there, because there's that many people who need to shop there.
That's also why there's 2 Super Ones in Pineville.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy?
Exactly. And I say that I tell people that all the time, because 28 East and 165 are 2 different markets. It's like being in 2 different cities. And if I know some folks don't realize Kingsville is not its own incorporated municipality. It's just it's an area that we call that Kings. Well, and so is it Kings Country? Or is it Kingsville?
Right. Kings Country is the shopping center.
Exactly.
Kingsville is the area. But if you're looking for a steak in Pineville, Quibido's has aged Angus steaks. You've got, believe it or not, Stephen turned me on this. Habibi's got a great steak, phenomenal steak. And Pop's Place on Friday nights has some of the best steaks you'll eat anywhere.
Thank you for that, because I'm glad you said that, because a lot of, just like the listener, if it's not in the name. If it's not in the name, and it's not sitting out front where you're driving by and it's front and center, which is why the corporate people, which is why all the national people refuse to go. Like we just talked about off air. I got 2 national brands that want to go on one lot that I have, and they won't go because they can't be front and center, and then they don't want to be passed where I'm at too. That's another thing. I can have all the land in the world, going back into town, but they don't want to be there. They want to be in the cluster. They've told me they won't go any further than where the lot that I have behind Kmart. That is the absolute last spot they'll go. Wow. I could literally give them an out parcel, and they won't go there because they want to be front and center. And again, I think it goes back to the mentality and the psychology of the folks just driving by, whether they're local or whether they're traveling from north to south through down the state, that if they don't see it, they don't know it's there. They don't know. I mean, Habibi's it's a great restaurant.
Phenomenal.
Great. I mean, I'd go to Marksville sometimes to go eat there. And Quibido's. I mean, Quibido's has a great menu. I mean, they do a good job. And then because Pop's Place is on Military Highway, not front and center, not a lot of traffic, but the locals know, and the people that once people know it's there, then they'll go. But just the average person just driving through town, or just the person that just maybe not, they don't go in that part of town. They don't know. They may see it. They don't know anything about it. So, I encourage everyone to go try our local restaurants out.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You want to talk back with Matt?
Recently I had a house I needed to sell, and I worked with Melanie at Ritchie Real Estate.
Yes, sir.
She was fantastic.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
All the people that I needed to do some upgrades to my house, and she had people to do that, and they were all just exceptional.
Well, that's very good feedback, and Melanie is a very, very good agent, and I'm going to make sure she knows that you called in, and we appreciate you so much for your business. And appreciate that feedback.
All right, thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, caller. We've got to take our last break of the hour. I know that blows your mind, but when we come back,
we have the $1.3 million deal we'll talk about.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
Tired of that same plumbing issue? Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Plumbing problems, large or small, Southern Air will fix them all. And you'll get service with no delay from certified technicians the very same day. Take advantage of our $99 drain clearing special and our 0% financing for those larger jobs. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com, the official heating and cooling provider for LSU football.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit GoVote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Call A1 Pools now if you need your pool liner changed or if you want an above-ground pool. A1 Pools has round and oval above-ground pools available. A1 Pools can change your pool liner, build an above-ground pool, or even an in-ground pool. Call A1 Pools now at 318-449-2093 for liners, above-ground pools, or in-ground pools. Always call A1 Pools, 318-449-2093.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
all right, welcome back to the final segment of Talkback, and we're enjoying getting all the scoop. And that $3 million deal wasn't the only big deal.
It was not. We had another $1 million plus transaction, and it was everybody's going to know this building, and it was Future Investments Company and Associates sales, and then they were headquartered out of Texas. It was an investment group. It was really I think maybe 6 or 7 different investors that back in the early 1970s. Had a build-to-suit agreement with a furniture store that now we know as Haverty's. And so Haverty's has been there, believe it or not, since the late 70s. And they had it's about a 60,000+ square foot building. We all know it's at the traffic circle. And they were going to close a couple years ago. The investors, the landlords, decided to drop the rent a little bit, and so the rents just kind of kept dwindling down, and so finally, and the furniture industry has really been slow the last couple of years. I lost a tenant, out of the building that a partner, Keith Fountain, and I own on the corner of Coliseum Boulevard and MacArthur Drive, which was the former 5-star building, and for 8 years, Josh and Todd Bordelon out of Ville Platte had rented that building from us, and they called it the Furniture Gallery. And they were there for 8 years, and they've now been gone a little over a year. And their vendors, their folks that all their vendors were telling them that the next couple of years were going to be a tough year, for the furniture business. And so they decided that instead of trying to ride this out and just survive, they decided to close. And so. Interestingly enough, though, Greg Trotter saw the opportunity and said, I have a good local, solid furniture store business, and it's right around the corner from where I'm at right now. And so Greg bought it. So that's a really, really good buy for Greg. That property sits on a little over 3 acres of land. It's 60,000+ square feet. And so hopefully, by mid-year or into this year, you'll see you'll drive up and you won't see Haverty's anymore. You'll see Trotters. And so I'm just so happy for him that he's able to grow into that building. I know because I know a lot of folks shop with him, and he's got a long. Trotters has been around for I'm not sure how many years, but they've been in business. I know 50 plus years. And if anybody knows more specifically, please call in. But it's a great local business. And I think he's going to do extremely, extremely well. Haverty's is a big company. They have locations all over the country. And, when you have that kind of corporate structure, you have different levels of management. And I thought about this recently. How can some of these local businesses survive where some of the corporate people can't? Well, the corporate people have to have a level of management. You have a general manager, and then you might have a kitchen manager, and then you might have a staff manager, and then you might have a front desk manager. So you have all these different levels of management. Well, all those managements come with cost, and it really drives up the operating cost of a business. And so you got a local business who doesn't have all that hierarchy and level of management. They can a lot of times they can survive if they got if they have been in business and have good solid business practices. So happy for Trotters to make that sale. Future Investments Company and Associates out of Texas was the seller. They actually had owned the building. Matter of fact, one of the partners that I was dealing with actually was signed on the original lease back in the late 70s. Now, he's older in age now, but he told me a lot of history, how the whole deal went down. So anyway, it was a good investment for them for the 40 plus years that they were here. And look, they would come in, talk about economic development. They're out of Texas. They would come in. He would come in a couple of times a year, stay in a hotel, eat in restaurants, and so you never know who's coming in and out of town and why they're here. But it was just a group that owned that building, and they would just come check on it periodically. So that was the second seven-figure transaction for the last 2 weeks. Activity reporting March 1st through March 15th. We continue to have a sale. We had another commercial sale. ABM Ventures, address on Wheelock, 130 Wheelock. I looked that address up, and it looks like to be either the old R.J. Jones Lumber Company or Flynn Manufacturing Specialties. I'm not sure. It was right. It's in between. It was either one of those buildings. Sells to a company out of Pineville with a military highway address of AFCO. No, not AFESCO is what the name of the company is. Was the buyer for about $300,000. So congratulations for both of those folks in that transaction. And then D.R. Horton sells another house out in the Woodworth area for about $350,000. And you'll start seeing those, and I think I talked about that. You'll start seeing more D.R. Horton sales because they do have a development project going on in the Woodworth area. Hunt Forest Products, another sells to Robert Johnson out of Ville Platte, about a 400-acre tract of land for about $1.36 million. It's just, negotiations really got heavy, Stephen, because the sales price were $1,362,113.65. I mean, they got. I'd like to have been at that negotiation table to see how they got that. So, yeah, a lot of folks will just round up, but they got real.
I was hoping for 66 cents.
They got real specific on that transaction. So, had a lot of folks ask me about what's going on Edgewood Drive. We've got a 2.5-acre tract right next to Ace Hardware being cleared, and we are open for business. We're open. I'm clearing it out just to try to attract some users. So if anybody has any ideas or any uses, give us a call.
Very good. Matt Ritchie with the economic update for Central Louisiana comes in every other week, first and third Tuesdays. We appreciate you being here, Matt, as always, updating us. I hate it when there's 5 Tuesdays in a month because I don't get my Matt fix every other week. But keep on traveling on. Keep us updated on your Treasury run, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.